Hi, welcome to the next edition of Sweet Specialty List. Today I got 4 decks. I got 5 O's through leagues. We're going to talk about them real quick and have a nice little discussion about them. If you like this series, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification for future videos. Let me know down in the comment section which one of these decks is your favorite. Now, if you want to help support the content that I do, there is a link in the description that includes link to my Patreon or also the ACG channel. Go check out that channel if you're interested in more content from me. Also, potentially other people, because that channel hopefully will have multiple content creators on there. But yeah, so go ahead and check all that out. Like I said, the Patreon is down below. It's a great way of helping support the content that I do, making sure I can, for the decks and do all the things I need to do, recording. So those things would be very much appreciated. And also you get your name featured at the end of the video, which is kind of nice. So let's get into the deck list. All 4 of them, break them down. So first on my list is Metalwork Colossus. This deck, of course, got the Leyline Axe. Now, this deck really hasn't picked up an actual win when it comes to challenges. They've been getting kind of in the middle of the road win, like, in the 32s, top 32s, top 64s around there. Hopefully we can get this deck actually to the point where we can win an actual challenge with it. But I do think Leyline Axe was a huge pickup. It allows the deck to have a much faster draw to get the Metalwork Colossus down. Of course, on Arena, we're still waiting on Sanctum of Ugin. We still have our best pieces like Synthesizer, which is the plan B of the deck. Smith, I would say, is plan C, and your Colossus is plan A. We have our boots to give our Colossus haste. You can give it double strike, which is kind of nice, potentially, just to KO your opponent. We also got rid of some of the bad cards in the deck, like the 2-drop that you draw a card, you make your creature unblockable for the turn. That's not a very good card when it comes pound for pound. Card quality. So it's kind of nice we got rid of stuff like that. We're getting to the point where our card quality is actually really good across the board. Agus, which is a newer card from Thunder's Junction, I think. Also a decent card, a little bit of removal. Sideboard, we have some Damping Spheres because we expect probably an increase on Lotus Field, especially on Arena, since the deck is coming to that for the first time. We have Mystic Forges for a little bit of the grindy matchups. 4 Rest in Pieces for Graveyard Hate. It is a little weird that we do play Rest in Peace, especially since Colossus could be returned from the graveyard, but that's okay. Against aggro, we have Knockout Blow. Most of the time, the aggro is red based, so it's just a 1-mana, take their red out and gain 2, which can oftentimes counter maybe the mouse early in the game. 3 Rebukes for a little bit of counter magic against control. That is our Metalwork Colossus deck for Pioneer. Let's get to the next list. So next is the deck that has been getting 5-0s. There's been different iterations that's been done. Now we're on a 4 Goose, 4 Gracer, 4 Fungus, turn all 1-drops. Risen Reef has now officially made the deck, which works really good with the green shell, because they're both elementals. Splunking, an amazing card. Turn 3 ramp is nice. So actually, most of the time it's probably turn 2. Grazer or Goose into a turn 2 Splunking. A little bit of counter magic in your ramp deck, which is a little awkward, but it still works. We have our Frog, which taps down our Grazer to draw 3 or 2, one of the 2. And then we have a Mimic, which is a cheap way of copying our green shell. Now, what do we gain for doing all this ramping? We have a Castle Garenberg in this version. So we can get to the Sire of 7 Deaths, which is a nice card to actually have at the top end. Most of the green shell decks top out at green shell, but this one actually gives a reason to play Castle Garenberg, which is kind of nice. Sideboard, we have a couple Blast Zones for aggro, a couple Cages for Phoenix and Coco decks. We have 4 Gusts for mono green and red. We have a couple Damping Spheres for green, Lotus Field, Quintorius, whatever you want to call it. Our Graveyard Hate choice is Curator. It's not a bad card. We probably can often get our Delirium mode on with Curator, because we have a bunch of different creature types. A land, enchantment, instant, creature. So we could probably get it online. Against control, we have some disputes for a little bit of more counter magic. So that is the deck, right? Because against control, you want to cut your Grazers. They're not very useful, because you're kind of planning on going long anyways. But that is the deck. So we have 2 more decks to cover. Let's get into them. I am now offering Patreon and Locals content exclusive. It includes sideboard guides, budget guides, exclusive videos, as well as other types of content. If you want to check out the link, it's in the description. Now let's get back into the video. So next is a Cats deck. So notably, we can't play this on Arena just yet because I believe Fleece Main Line is not on there. You can substitute it for the other 2-drop 3/3, but it's not as good as this one. I wish they would have printed this one in the Pioneer Masters, but maybe they're waiting for a cat jump start. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. But we have Squire, which is a brand new cat, plus Savannah Lions and Sacred Cat. Sadly, we're not playing the other 1-drop. Sacred Cat is an okay card, but never been a huge fan of it. So we have Savannah Lions, which is really good. The Cub gets rid of a Fable Annex, so it's not terrible. Definitely better. Maybe I should have tried this card out. We have 3 of the First Fang, which is a new Cat Lord. 2 Brimez, which is kind of like the old school Adeline. Flanker for a little bit of graveyard hate plus Scry. Sovereign to get rid of enchantments and artifacts. And then we have Coco. So we are a Coco based deck. And at the top end, we have a couple copies of Regal Carkel. Gives our stuff Lifelink, which is really going to get good against red decks. Sideboard, we have a couple more. We could probably trim back on Collect a Company or something like that for those extra copies. I'm kind of wondering what matchups you really want 4 copies of a 5-drop, but you know, sometimes you kind of want it. Graveyard hate, we have Lion. Sash is that's a cat that happens to also eat up things in the graveyard. Moonlight for Transmog and Creativity. Then we have Flankers for Graveyard hate plus the Sashes. So it's actually not that bad amount of Graveyard hate. But we do only have 4 portable holes for target removal early in the game. And honestly, when I played cats, that was his biggest weakness, was his inability to have good creature removal. So if that ever actually occurs, this deck probably could actually compete. Maybe even at the level of Angels or whatnot. Because this version does have Graveyard hate, which Angels don't have. And so that's a little bit of advantage this tribe has. For Lord effects, I mean, Squire is really good. So it's very tricky to determine the rest of the cards. You know, who has the advantage? Angels, which have flyers, and it has Feldar Sovereign. Or not Feldar Sovereign. The 3-drop Angel that gets +2/+2. Really good card. Man, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank there, but like both decks I think have their own merit. But I do think cats could be something good if we get something like a Skyclave Appetizers or something like that. We have one more deck to cover today. Let's get into it. So last on my list is the deck I kind of tried a little bit on the channel in a live stream. At the time of trying it though, Tassiger was not on the client, and of course neither is Dark Betrayal, which is in the sideboard, which I'm assuming is mainly for Shieldred, slashers, demons. So they're kind of all over the place. And of course, Tassiger. I'm not really sure in what world Tassiger is worth this. So Tassiger is not there, so I didn't get a chance to try this exact build. That's the bigger loss than I think Dark Betrayal. Slasher's still pretty decent card. 4 Fatal Push is best removal, plus Thoughtseize is best hand interaction. We have Commit to Memory. I'm not really sold that this card should be in the deck. It doesn't seem that great. It's always expensive. We have a Negate for a little bit of counter magic. Bank Buster as a way to fill our hand up, keep turning through our deck, find the pieces we want. Heartless Act is a nice little gotcha against Archfiend of the Dross. Plus, it's an okay removal spell, along with Go for the Throat. A little bit more hand disruption with Duress. A couple draw effects with Consider. 3 Shieldreds, because it's just a really good card. And like I said, we have our 4 Kiora, which works really well with Shieldred. Now, the biggest thing I had noticed with this deck is the lack of actual card advantage. Besides Consider and Kiora, like oftentimes you get stagnated and you can't turn through your deck. That's what I noticed, so I guess maybe I just need to mull more for Bankbuster. But that doesn't seem like something I should be doing. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this list, because when I tried it out, tested it out, it felt like it was missing something. I guess Commit to Memory is technically card advantage if you do the memory section, but I'm not sold that that's where you really want to be. 5 mana, reset your hand. 4 Gust for mono red and the green. Devotion. 3 Disputes for control, blue-based strategies. Additional cut down. Nice to deal with small creatures like mono red and mono white potentially, like humans. 4 Leyline of the Voids for graveyard heat. 2 Annul as a way to counter Annex for 1 mana. Also can get an opposing Bankbuster. So there's definitely some artifacts and enchantments that you want to counter. Also like Fable the Mirror Breaker. We have Dark Betrayal as a way, like I said, to hit on Demons, Shieldred, Slasher. Those are pretty common these days. Black has taken over Pioneer again. And no, it shows here. Black is just dominant. So I want to know what you guys think about this deck in the comment section. like I said, which one of these is your favorite? Are you excited to play any of these 4 decks? So far, the trickling of new sweet decks hasn't really been there. So I might actually start doing videos like trying to figure, like, calculating what big trends have been happening in Pioneer from week to week. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want a video like that, where I tell you, what's on the uprise, what's on the downtick, and kind of why. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Also, the next month, January, that is when I'm going to be doing the next round of tournaments for ACG. So if you're interested in doing and participating in Explorer tournaments, check that out. I might do a couple more for free before I start switching over. So the goal with that is, like I said, the Patreon is how you actually pay for the actual tournaments. So kind of like it's pretty comparable prices to what you would do if you went to a store. So it's not like I'm like overcharging or anything, and most of the money goes back into going back into actually making in-person tournaments, hopefully for a year or 5 potentially, because 4 quarterlies plus 1 world championship or ACG championship. So some of the money will go into those, actually having them physical and paper, mainly Pioneer probably. Also, some of the money will go back into the prize pool. So you'll probably, if you do really well, you should be able to get your entry back potentially. So check out all that over in the ACG channel. Its link is in the description, along with the Patreon. And like I said, hope you guys have a great rest of your day.